Do you agree, Grace? It's not cheap. Huh, it's not cheaply made. So that's good. Even got some slobbers on it. That's good. Hello everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Parks and Tech. Today we're going to be looking at something pretty unique, aren't we, Grace? Yeah, we're going to be taking a look at this PowerEgg from Powervision. I'm sure you guys remember seeing my review on the golden egg from JJRC. Well, this is like the grandmother or the grandfather of that little egg. This thing's huge. It's a big egg. It's really cool looking. I'm really excited to see this thing in the air. But first we got to get it out of the packaging and see what we get in here. There's a lot packed into this hard shell case that it comes with. So there's definitely a lot inside here. So let's go ahead and dive deep into this thing here. So there's a latch here. So we go ahead and open her up. You can see that we are greeted with the egg itself and a bag of goodies over here. So let's take a look at the egg first. This thing's heavy. This thing's a beast for sure. It is extremely well made. It's definitely not cheap. Huh? Do you agree, Grace? It's not cheap. Huh? It's not cheaply made. So that's good. Even got some slobbers on it. That's good. So these are the landing gear here. These actually fold out whenever you actually power on the quadcopter, and then once it takes off, they actually fold up. In here, we have the battery compartment. That battery is not in here right now, and it's still a pretty heavy beast. So we have that, and then the arms themselves actually pull out and lock in like this. So that's pretty cool. These motors are huge. These brushless motors are huge, along with these props. You need something like that to lift this bad boy off the ground. This thing's quite heavy. So, and then of course it just folds up. And then this little trigger here will unlock it to allow you to move the arm back down and tuck the propellers safely inside the quadcopter. So underneath here is the actual 4K camera itself. And let's see if I can't get this off. There we go. So it has this little protective foam padding here for the gimbal. But there it is. Beautiful 4K camera. So we'll definitely be excited to try that out. And what's really cool again is that those legs fold up. The landing gear folds up, automatically. So that's cool. So those don't ever really get into the shot. So that's cool. For the time being, I'm going to go ahead and put this foam cover back on just so that the gimbal doesn't get bounced around. But even the gimbal itself feels very well made, and almost feels like it's made out of metal. I don't think it is, but almost kind of feels like it. You do have some ultrasonic sensors here, and looks like a optical flow sensor as well. Sorry about that, guys. So you do have your optical flow sensor and your ultrasonic sensors as well to help this bad boy hover in place, and then of course GPS as well. So going ahead and pop this cover back on again. I don't want anything to happen to this gimbal, so we'll go ahead and get this back on there, and just clips right back on. So that's pretty neat. It does come with this little stand too, so we'll take a quick look at that, and then just sits very promptly on there for display. So that's cool. So we'll leave that there for right now. And take a look at everything else here. Looks like you got your usual packet of information. Yep, PowerEgg, disclaimers and safety guidelines, what's in the box, just what we're doing right now. Looks like PowerEgg in French and Spanish. So I got a couple different languages here. This is a pretty in-depth quadcopter, I must say. So it might actually be worth it to take a look at these, especially with its weight as well. You know, it might be a good thing to actually read. But you also get this little carrying bag too, PowerEgg. It's neatly shaped, so you do get that bag. I'll probably just leave it in this case. Now this case doesn't have a handle, but we'll be able to figure something out, I'm sure. Hidden underneath here, I mean, they got stuff packed into every little compartment everywhere they had to. We got part of your charging cable, so that's in there. So you just have to remember that's in there. So here's our little bag of goodies here. Before we get into that though, there is the power adapter down here too. Power adapter actually comes with everything in it. Extra USB port there to charge whatever you want. This here is the actual charger for the battery itself. And then it has 3 extra micro USB cables on there for different things that are actually inside this packaging here. So I'll show you those here next. So I'm just tucking those back in. Okay, so this is a pretty heavy duty case. Very hard. Again, very well made. Nothing in here is cheaply made or cheaply done by any means. So that's pretty cool. So let's get that open. And we are greeted with this massive honking battery. This thing's huge. Now I did have this open already, just as a disclaimer, because I wanted to charge this battery, hoping that I'd be able to fly it today. It's raining outside now, but maybe we'll get a break in the action. I want to do a lot of flying today, so we'll see what happens there. So that's that big honking battery. And then over here you have your transmitter. And this thing is quite a transmitter. Your little holder here is made out of metal. It's incredible. You've got an on and off switch back here. I know there's some nubs in here somewhere for this thing, for these, but I kind of like them without it. I kind of like it the way that it is. This thing's big. It's definitely heavy duty. You got a little lanyard strap there too if you want to hook a lanyard onto it. And maybe for this thing, you might want to, because wait until you see what else has to go on here. So let's take a look. This little thing in here is kind of neat, a little different. It's like a little gyroscope way to control this thing, kind of like the one that actually comes with the JGRC Golden Egg. But I don't know. I mean, I just don't really think that this is going to be for me. It might be for somebody else. So this might be kind of cool for somebody. But not for me. So for me, this is just an added little thing, gimmick, I guess, for the lack of a better word. So we'll go ahead and tuck that back inside there. This over here is your Wi-Fi repeater. Now this actually goes onto here like this. Now you can see why you might want to use this lanyard. This thing's starting to get a little heavy already. So that's pretty cool. And then of course we have a little way here to hold your phone as well. And there we go. So that spring is pretty darn hard. So if you get one of these, you might think that you might break it at first, but if your phone goes in here, it's not going anywhere. Trust me. Those springs are pretty well loaded. But yeah, as you can see, it's starting to get pretty interesting here. But this thing does have quite the range on it. So to be perfectly honest, I don't think I would feel safe or comfortable something this heavy flying through the sky, going out 2-3 kilometers. I just wouldn't. That's just me though. If this thing falls from the sky and hits something, it's gonna hurt or damage or do something to whatever it hits, big time. It's not light at all. Pretty darn heavy. So, but then this is like I said, the transmitter, and it's quite the hookup, and we'll go through all that when we go out to actually fly it. But I just the build quality is just impeccable. I mean, it's just absolutely incredible, the build quality on this thing. Not to mention, I mean, just the conversation piece of this. It's just really neat. And I actually want to put the battery in. I haven't put the battery in to see what it actually feels like with the battery in. Now, as Brian Singleton from True Drone Reviews said, this is one of those idiot-proof batteries, meaning that you can put this in any which way, you know, either this way or this way, and supposedly it will work and do fine. So I'm gonna pop that in there. Although, there we go. That's better. So now that's in there. What else we have inside there? So there is a micro USB port in there. I don't know if that's also to you know, help charge it, or what the case is there, but it's kind of interesting, I must say. So that's cool. And like I said, I did have this open already because I wanted to charge it. All right, so let's go ahead and take a little bit of a closer look at this actual drone itself. As you saw, the battery is now inside, and right now it's just kind of resting on its stand here, and that stand does light up whenever you plug it in. So that's pretty cool. It lights up around the side. But let's go on ahead. I want to show you guys how this thing powers up and starts up. So first things first, always remember to remove your gimbal cover. Extremely important. And remove this little piece of foam as well. One other thing I thought I'd mention is that this the SD card slot is actually on the camera itself, and it actually comes with one to get you going. So that's kind of neat. It comes with a 16 gig micro USB or micro SD card, sorry, inside the camera. So that's good. And it just clips on in there. There we go. So that's pretty cool. So now, while that's off, you have to make sure that you're ready to rock and roll here, because you can't really set it down unless you set it down on its side. So you're going to pull out the props here. And make sure we get to all of them. Okay, and that's what this thing looks like in the air. I mean, that's incredible. So that's really cool looking. To see something like that flying through the air. So I'm definitely excited about that. So now to turn it on, you're going to want to make sure you grab it by two of the arms here to be able to turn this thing on. Because obviously we're going to have to deploy the landing gear as well, so it has something to stand on. So to turn it on, press once and then press and hold till the lights come on. There we go. And I'll take a look here. Things turning on. Little gimbal down there. Good. Now to deploy the landing gear, we tap the power button 3 times very quick. So 1, 2, 3, and there it is. And then it's deployed the landing gear. That thing's cool. It kind of looks like some sort of UFO craft or something. It's really neat. So then when this thing takes off, it will automatically pull the landing gear back in, and then of course once it's getting ready to land, it will also deploy it as well. So that's really cool. But man, yeah, that's just a really cool looking quad. All right, so hopefully this rain here clears up a little bit outside, and we can go on ahead and take this bad boy out and take it for our first flight, and see what's going on with it. So let's keep our fingers crossed that this rain stops, and we'll hopefully see you outside. So let's get this puppy in the air.